The Locust. The Locust, also called the Thumper, is a terrifying creature that not only lingers on your screen but also breaks through it. This tall creature with stick-thin arms and hollow eyes lurks inside flickering monitors and old television sets, waiting for the right opportunity to break into the world. With its bizarre tube-like appendages that throb and writhe like something half-living, half-mechanical, its face is a distorted parody of humanity. In spite of its hideous appearance, the Locust exhibits disturbingly innocent behavior. It uses broken sentences when speaking, misspells words when writing, and gives greetings that, if they weren't from a monster, would almost be cute. A predatory instinct that no innocence can conceal is concealed by this immaturity, but it is far more terrifying. There aren't the overt indications of violence that one might anticipate when the Locust strikes. The bodies of the victims appear to be undamaged. On the inside, however, everything essential is just gone. There was only an unsettling emptiness where life once flourished. No blood, no struggle. The creature harvests organs without even scratching, as though it were feeding on the very essence of humanity. According to witness accounts, there appears to be a clear pattern. First, there is a slight tapping sound on the glass. Then a long hand that resembled a stick reached out. Then there was quiet, save for the slight hum of a screen that shouldn't have been glowing. The arrival of the Locust is a somber reminder that some doors once opened can never be closed again, whether one is looking for food or a companion. The Operator. The Operator, an anonymous character whose very existence distorts reality, lurks in Marble Hornet's shadowy corners. Often confused with Slender Man, he wears a black business suit and has an unnervingly blank face, but don't be fooled. This entity has no known rules. Despite his infrequent on-camera movements, the Operator has a devastating impact. His approach causes electronics to malfunction, audio to become distorted, and minds to disintegrate. He manipulates time in a very limited capacity, infects memories, and subtly drives victims into madness rather than pursuing prey in the traditional sense. His behavior is a disturbing blend of animalistic instinct and sapient intelligence, and his influence spreads like a viral curse. Those who are marked by it become sources, with no obvious means of containing or escaping it. His most obvious power is teleportation, which allows him to move through space and possibly time with ease. After brief encounters, victims report experiencing abrupt disorientation, missing hours, or ending up in unfamiliar locations. In the meantime, being physically close to the Operator frequently results in excruciating seizures, suggesting that his presence interferes with not only the mind but also the body's fundamental electrical processes. The Operator doesn't kill because they're angry or hungry, in contrast to conventional monsters. His intentions are frighteningly nebulous. He destroys people from the inside out by allowing their confusion, fear, and despair to rot them into nothing. Those who cross him disappear, sometimes with whole swaths of reality. Others are left broken but alive, forever plagued by visions of a figure that appears just beyond the trees, the Bacteria. The Bacteria, also known as the Howler, is one of the most hostile and recognizable entities in the endless halls of the backrooms. Standing unnaturally tall and thin, with arms like dragging cord and a twisted, skeletal frame, it stalks its victims with terrible quiet. Though it looks delicate, the Bacteria is shockingly fast and powerful. It lures prey with distorted screams, then ambushes it without warning using stealth and imitation. Its quick strikes leave victims who often show minimal outward damage, which fuels hypotheses about feeding internal organs. Originally seen on film during the Found Footage #1 event, the Bacteria stalked Kane Pints through the maze before ultimately killing him. Later encounters suggested that the creature had become even more threatening and aggressive. Some theorize it originates from contamination, though this remains unconfirmed. Others believe it is a living extension of the backrooms themselves. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. Running might buy you time but not your life if you hear its hollow howls echoing down the endless corridors. The Wretch. The Wretch is a monstrous anomaly that resulted from a tragedy at Moonlight Acres family campgrounds. Originally an average brown bear, Glenn Arthur offered it to the Iris in a desperate bid to replace a human offering. But this act of rebellion did not go unpunished. The Iris brought the bear back into something far more horrific. A towering monstrosity pieced together from the live bodies of its victims. The Wretch looks quite horrible. Its skeletal legs reach unnaturally long lengths, capped on human-like hands twisted into hideous forms. The elongated head of the creature resembles a canine skull deprived of life. Its whole body is a tapestry of sinewy red flesh, dotted with enormous pore-like holes and many sprouting twisted roots. The Wretch towers at full scale, 2 commercial telephone poles, a flesh titan lumbering across the forest. The Wretch started abducting camp people and merging them into its terrible form after metamorphosis. Victims like Mary Dean and Glenn Arthur are not only consumed, it's strongly suggested they remain alive, caught in a state of perpetual suffering within the creature's body. Every twisted silhouette, every hideous limb tells a tale of horror, and of something far worse than death, even if they are just seen momentarily in records. Coelum Carnis. Coelum Carnis, often known as the Monolith, stands like a forgotten titan at the edge of human understanding. This entity, rising approximately 120 meters into the sky, has no mouth, no eyes, and no voice. It is formed from millions of crimson fibers twisted together, culminating in a hollow, upside-down triangular head. I know exactly what you are thinking, but stop. In 1972, 7 of these colossal beings were discovered on a remote island in Hudson Bay, each perfectly positioned around a strange anomaly known as the Singularity. When inactive, they appear almost harmless, silent and statuesque, like ancient sentinels guarding a secret no one should ever uncover. Their mere presence feels like it disrupts the balance of nature, as if the entire world is holding its breath. But once, and only once, they moved. During that forgotten incident, Coelum Carnis unleashed its terrifying power. Its tendrils lashed out like whips powerful enough to topple heavy machinery. From the hollow of its head, it discharged devastating EMP blasts, frying helicopters and disabling entire battalions within seconds. Neither rockets nor artillery could stop it, and any damage it suffered regenerated within moments. In the end, against every instinct screaming otherwise, the monoliths retreated. They returned to their frozen watch, leaving behind only scorched landscapes and unanswered questions. Some mysteries are better left unsolved, and some islands better left unvisited. Needle Mouse. Needle Mouse, whose real name is Sarah Henderson, is the protagonist of the Needle Mouse series, which was developed by Shut Up JoJo. Tragically killed during her lifetime, Sarah's soul got caught inside prototype Sonic the Hedgehog games and started down a dark road of retribution. Her anguish and resentment ate her over time, and it finally drove Sarah to start a vicious campaign against her former friends. Sarah is totally in charge in her digital sphere. She can even project her presence into reality when called for, and uses Sonic's legendary speed and strength, bending reality at will. Her terrible influence is enhanced by her horrible capacity to trap the souls of her victims within the cursed game disc. Driven first by treachery, Sarah's moral compass lost direction as she started to hunt innocent people. The point of no return was her attack on Kyle, a lad taken in by her ex-girlfriend Lily. Sarah was clearly merely extending her own suffering, not fighting for justice anymore. The entity known as Atom only pushed her down this road. Visually, Needle Mouse looks to be a twisted Sonic. Purple quills, red eyes, and a frozen, disturbing smile. Only when she loses control do the deeper horrors under her surface show. Ultimately, Sarah's narrative is one of sad self-destruction. A once average young woman turned into a spectral monster by loss, resentment, and unresolved grief. The Man in the Suit. The Man in the Suit is a man who lost his mind to vengeance after the pain he endured, and eventually turned into a monster because of the hatred inside him. After losing his entire family to the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, he found work as a suit actor for the Godzilla movie. However, this job he found would eventually turn him into something obsessive and self-consuming. His obsession with the monster grew so much that he refused to take off the costume. Not during meals, not during breaks, not even outside the studio. He even insisted that he was Goji. He was no longer like a human being, and over time, man and monster merged into a single grotesque entity. He possessed unimaginable strength, razor-sharp claws, infectious bites, acidic boiling blood, and a regenerative ability so powerful that even a shotgun blast to the head could not stop him. However, this was not the worst part. The pain and hatred burning inside him were far more terrifying. He blamed Americans for the loss of his family and all the suffering he had experienced, and this hatred would lead him to do something terrible. During the filming of King Kong vs. Godzilla, he attacked Shoichi Hirose, the actor portraying King Kong, and drowned him right there on set. The rage that had been building up for years had finally exploded. The man in a costume had turned into something beyond our understanding. After all of this, the Man in the Suit's mutation worsened even more, and his body became even more gigantic, resembling a twisted god. His acidic blood could corrode metal, and his rage could destroy entire crews. He had transcended humanity. He was no longer a man in a suit. He was Goji, the living embodiment of vengeance and sorrow, a ghost sent to make the world pay for the pain it had forgotten. The Horned Serpent. The Horned Serpent, formerly George Washington, is a titanic cosmic entity from the Monument Mythos universe. Originally human, he changed upon cutting a special tree and entering Wonderland, a higher dimensional world. There, contact with reality-warping forces transformed him into a serpentine, godlike being. Blackened and lengthened, his body blurs the boundaries between dimensions as it stretches across the crust of Earth and beyond. Washington came back to the physical world following his metamorphosis and was imprisoned under the Statue of Liberty, under cover of government conspiracies. In spite of containment initiatives like Project Horned Serpent, he telepathically influenced events across centuries, subtly guiding major developments like the construction of the Suez Canal, and triggering catastrophic incidents such as the unification of 2003, which fractured the United States into different zones. The Horned Serpent causes great destruction, warps reality, and creates anomalies like the special trees and corner folk. Echoes of his influence linger across many worlds, even after the Great Division reshaped Earth into the corner world. Fragments of the Serpent still have impact over fractured realities. Today, we talked about analog horror monsters. Most of the characters featured in this video were chosen based on your requests. As a channel, we are constantly working to move forward in every way. That's why your support is incredibly important to us. You can be sure that we carefully consider even the smallest piece of feedback you share. As for the video, which analog horror monster do you think was the scariest, and why? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.